Entrepreneurial Edge is brought to you by Business Banking from FNB, because small ideas can lead to big business. FNB, how can we help you?
Welcome back to the Entrepreneurial Edge. I'm Chris Bishop. Now, if you have any comments and suggestions on the show, please send me an email to entrep@abn360.com. Now, still in the studio with me, I have Frits Kroon of Frits Kroon Transport with many tales, I hope, on what's happening in the southern African continent. Now, who are your big customers right now? I mean, what sort of industries looking at capital equipment? Because it's always a good sign of where the economy is heading in the future.
Well, we mainly do work for mines up in, especially Zambia and Congo. We do mines there, or guys that supply the mines. That they've got, say, for instance, a mill shell that was manufactured or they imported from China or wherever across the world, imported into brought it via ship into Durban, and we load it up there and take it up Zambia or Congo, wherever it's been needed. Yeah. And
Zimbabwe, you were saying before the show that the economy seems to be picking up a bit there. What's your experience?
Yeah, for sure. Especially in the eastern part, a lot of diamond activity is going on there. Up in just south of Harare is Ngezi mine. It's a platinum mine. It's also a lot of stuff going up there. The coal, obviously, at Wangi, southern western part. It's also there's movement. There's movement for sure.
And further afield, I mean, Mozambique, Angola, also you do business with. What are the other industries that are like catching your eye in terms of good business?
Well, especially in Mozambique, it's up north, most northern part is Pemba, which I found gas. That's also it's going to be very big. Obviously, the roads is a bit the problem to get there, but it will develop into a good thing. And then Moscow is down south at Maputo area. It's also excellent. A lot of activity there as well. Yeah.
Because that's one thing you and I have intimate knowledge of is potholes. In this town, people see a pothole, they, oh, isn't it terrible? But you and I have driven roads across Africa, yeah, where it takes, I say it's taken me sometimes an hour to get 500 meters because you're going around at snail's pace. How bad is it for your guys?
Well, some places, especially Zambia, the roads were very bad, but the Chinese and everybody is clocked in and they fixed the roads up very nicely. I remember in 2005, from Kitwe toward, or Chingola towards Solwezi is about 180 k's, and it took me 6 hours on that road. It was horrendous. The best road was alongside the road, because if you try to stay on the tarmac, if you fall into this pothole, or try to skip this pothole, you fall into the next one. So the best road is just alongside the road.
Because I personally think that infrastructure is right at the heart of the African business story. And in fact, South African President Jacob Zuma told CNBC Africa very recently that he sees it as a way to link the continent through business and increase trade. But from what you're seeing, the infrastructure story, do you think there's enough spending in it or not?
It can always be better and more, yeah, for sure. But I think it's much better the last few, I would say 7 years. That had a tremendous influences on the infrastructure, guys, and especially the roads, and they tried to fix it up, make it easier for everybody.
And how much do you think governments are starting to catch on to it, that if you get the roads out, then the business will come?
I think it's entrepreneurial thing is get the roads, get the stuff rolling, and then everything will just fall into place. If the roads are better, the guys will get quicker to site. The food will get quicker to the stores and all that. So yeah, it is for sure. The roads are a big thing.
But aside from the roads, then there's the famous bureaucracy story at most borders. I mean, we had someone else on this station saying that some truckers, if they have to move multiple countries, have to have something like 1,500 documents on board to get the stuff through. What can be done about this?
Well, yes, it's difficult. The guys, especially at Chirundo, they introduced a one-stop. I couldn't realize a big difference in it. You still wait 2-3 days at Chirundo. Beitbridge, they tried to put a thing in our for supervision and a stop and all that. They tried to enforce methods, but it's taking longer. It doesn't really help to get it quicker through. Yeah.
I mean, what would be your answer? I mean, with this modern day technology, is there not a way you can have a chip or something that can take you through? I don't know.
I think there's always plans to get it around it, but obviously there will perpetrators that will duck and dive underneath the law. So I think it's the best thing is to get it plain and simple. Keep it simple, Simon. Just keep it simple and it will work.
And looking ahead in your business, where do you see yourself expanding in the continent?
Going up north. I would say Zambia is obviously the new mines expanding, the existing mines expanding a lot. The new mines coming up as well, the new deposits that's been found. Congo as well, it's looking very, very good.
And is there any case for you actually getting bases further north of South Africa, where you could actually move your trucks further into the continent?
I've got a company registered in Zambia. That is the prospect, yeah, to go there. Yeah.
What's the biggest problem you're facing in the industry at the moment?
Biggest problem? Well, obviously fuel. I believe there is a new info now. The fuel is going up by 50 cents a litre again, so that will kill us. It's definitely, it's killing everybody. It's not me. It's actually killing the customer. Problems we have is border posts and infrastructure. The roads. If the roads not good, I think that's the main thing. Drivers is also a bit of a problem, but yeah, we'll get around it.
But it must be very difficult for you when you're quoting people for a trip, and all of a sudden, bang, fuel goes up overnight. What do you do in that situation? Do you have to try and take it to keep the customer, or do you go back to them?
It's a 50-50%. It all depends who the customer is and how long. Well, normally a quote is valid for 30 days. And in that day, fuel only go up once a month. So you try to play around it and speak to your customer. So listen, I've quoted on this, but the fuel have gone up. If it's gone up by 5 cents, you just take the knock and go on, because you know you'll get more work from him. But if it's like a 50% or 50 cent increase, it makes a big difference. Then they might come to the party as well. It's not according to me, or it's not me that put the diesel price up.
Now you're turning over from almost nothing, more than $7 million US a year. What do you think made you an entrepreneur? What do you think?
Geez, I think the best, or the most important thing is just keep your fingers on everything. Don't let any food fall through your fingers, or anything fall through. Just keep your eyes open. If you use the guys to work for you, look after it.
Especially going back to those early days. I mean, did you ever get jobs where perhaps you weren't making that much money, that were quite difficult, that you took on just to get? Most of them, is that what you're saying? Tell me.
Not most of them. Like I said, being in abnormal is a niche market. The money were good, but sometimes it was a learning curve. Paid a lot of school fees, a lot of them. So you misquoted on a job, you have to stick to it. Didn't know all the machines, didn't check up the specifications and the weight on that. So you have to, you just have to make a plan to do the job and get it over with, and take the hiding, go on to the next load, go on.
And what's the competition like in this trucking business across Africa?
Well, competition is good. It's not a bad thing. I think the guys mustn't cut the price. There's enough work for everybody. Especially now after the recession, things tend to pick up, definitely.
And is it that big is beautiful, or is it small is beautiful? I mean, how many trucks do you run?
No, I've got a small 11 trucks. It's not in normal guys. The framework 11 trucks is small, but for me, I want the cream of the customers. So good service. Try to be on time. If the guys tell you need to be there at 10 o'clock, try to be at 10 o'clock. It's not always possible, but try to be there. And if you've got a problem, just phone the customer and say, listen, we've got a problem. We were held up by the previous customer loading or offloading. We had a problem. Whatever the case may be, just be honest with the guys then.
What do you think in all these years is your biggest mistake, you think, in business?
My biggest mistake?
Was there a time when you perhaps regretted something?
No, not. There's always small mistakes, but it's not the big thing that I wouldn't break my neck about it and say I should have done that and I should have done that. But no, I think everything is just a learning curve. It's for sure, it's a learning curve. And like I said, paid a lot of school fees.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And yourself? I mean, obviously you're quite comfortably off now with this. I mean, are you one of those people who likes to take long holidays or
No.
go to places, fly around the world, have fancy watches? Are you that sort of a person?
No,
or
no.
Not at all.
No, I'm straight down to earth. We went when I got married in 2003. We didn't go. Me and my wife didn't go on holiday for 6 years. The business closed, but we didn't go away. So no long holidays for me. That's
No fancy cars, nothing.
No.
Exactly the same person you were in 1999.
That's it. Yeah.
And you said also your father and grandfather were entrepreneurs. Do you have another generation of Kroons coming?
No, not yet. We're working on it. We're working on them.
But will they be entrepreneurs too?
Hopefully.
Do you think entrepreneurs are made or born? What do you think?
I think it both. I think I think it's more the way you brought up. I think that's you made like that, and you can teach yourself. There's a willpower, you can do it.
And the banking situation at the moment, and there's a lot of people talking about it, credit's getting tighter. Business your size, are you particularly affected very much by that?
Banking is a big problem, especially now coming out of the big ugly word recession that everybody talked about. Everything is picking up, but the cash flow is not there. The guys they want to move the machines, and the mine wants to expand, but the cash flow is not there. The guys battle to pay you on time, steal from Paul to pay Peter, type of thing.
But let's take something optimistic away from this program, and the fact that you're saying that overall the signs, because it's your sort of industry, capital equipment, especially in the resources industry, it's a very good indication of where the economy is going. So, but I mean, in your view, you think things are picking up in general?
Oh yeah, like I said, I'm small compared to the other big oaks in Africa, but it's definitely picking up. There's for sure picking up, but there's more activity running, or quotes a lot, and the loads are for sure. Especially not South Africa that big, but we mainly concentrate on Zambia and Congo, so it's booming for sure.
And last but not least, perhaps you're a bit young to talk about legacy, but how would you like people to remember you as an entrepreneur? I mean, years down the line.
I would say I remember for what I was and tried to make a difference, and try to be honest about everything.
Frits Kroon, transport entrepreneur extraordinaire, thank you very much for your time and your insights into what's happening in the economy. Thank you very much indeed. That's all we're afraid we have time for this week. Be sure to tune in again next week for another episode of The Entrepreneurial Edge. Until then, from me, Chris Bishop, it's goodbye.